I always say that, and they sound literally just like my grandmother used to, which is actually a little bit nostalgic. We should be live. If you're scrolling and you see some really pretty faces smiling, stop your scroll and come hang out with us for a minute. I have my chat open, which basically means that if you stop your scroll and you want to have a conversation with us, as you've seen lately, I've been going live with beautiful faces and beautiful, brilliant women. And in bringing these women into the internet world and all the places, not just to promote the Heart Cell Signature Summit, but to really promote them and their expertise. And today our topic, as you're stopping, I want you to stop and think about what your why is. So the first topic we had was community, and we went pretty deep in community. See, I don't have things turned off and they're going off. And if I move it, I'm scared that I'm gonna lose you guys. But here we go. Sorry. Coming back. Okay. So I lost my train of thought. So what we're gonna do today is talk about your why. What we have done in previous lives are talk about community, really digging in deep to community, and then really talking about the day-to-day in the life of a woman entrepreneur, woman business owner, woman running their own show, and all of the many things that we have to do. But then I thought, okay, I know these two ladies pretty well, and I know that they have some serious passion around what they do and why they do it, and it goes beyond their credentials because they are quite credentialed. Is that a word?
It is.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So welcome to my circle of influence partners. They will be at the Heart Cell Signature Summit, and they will be women that you get to meet while you're there. But before we do the little topic of what's your why, I'd love for them to introduce themselves. Everybody knows who I am. Who cares? Who is Sharon and who is Tiffany? Tiffany, why don't you kick us off and give us a little intro of who you are and where you're from and what you do?
Awesome. So I'm Tiffany Boval. I am a wealth advisor here in Independence. I work for Prasad Wealth. I come from a long history in banking, but my title is wealth manager, but I like to think of myself as your financial coach for your wealth financial coach. So I start, with the accumulation phase, kind of teaching you what to save, how to allocate, educating around it, building out a financial plan to give us a base of where you're at and where your goals are. And then, kind of helping you retire right up into that retirement. And once we get there, helping you with the Social Security optimization, Medicare planning, secure income, and then distribution planning, and then, following up into the legacy and asset protection. So it's really your whole financial cycle of life that I like to assist with. And I head up I have personal clients and business clients. I head up the 401k division. So I help structure 401k plans as well and work with participants around that education piece.
And for anyone that's watching and are like, where's Independence, Ohio? It's actually like 15 minutes from where I'm from. So, and there's so many people coming into the summit that are not from Cleveland. So I'm specifying where Independence, Ohio is. And Tiffany and I do go way back, and we reconnected. We reconnected recently when I tapped her on the shoulder and said, hey, I need your help and I want to hang out with you. And we've been hanging out ever since. And that's just really fun. So I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're coming.
Thank you.
Sharon, who are you?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sharon Tasman. I have been an attorney for more years than I care to admit. I thank my curly hair. So what I do is I spent many, many years in big law and big corporate, and now I work in a small firm that we've had for about 13 years. My focus is fairly limited. It is technology, life sciences, and business-related law. And my passion for the last 5 or 6 years, while still servicing my larger corporate clients, is really to help women entrepreneurs and other underserved communities build, protect, and grow their small businesses. So whether it is setting up your LLC or helping you have all the contracts in place, that is what I'm really passionate about, is to help women and these other underserved communities really build a solid foundation. I've worked on about $6 billion in deals over time, so I'm able to bring that big law experience to my smaller clients. But because I no longer am in big law, I get to have more realistic rates for my variety of clients now. And when I'm not being a lawyer, I love to travel. I've been to about 68 countries, and I am a competitive ballroom dancer.
Yay.
That's
Well,
awesome.
thank you, ladies. Thank you for the intro. And if you guys are out there listening to these introductions, you know, we really are we're a big deal. You're a big deal. You guys are big deals. But beyond the big deal, you know, the big deal of this is what I did, this is what I do now. I'm thinking about, as you guys are talking, that how blessed we are that we get to do what we love to do. How blessed we are. Because how many conversations do you have on a daily basis with people that aren't doing what they love to do? They aren't.
That's true.
Yeah.
A lot.
I know. So it's a huge blessing that we get to do what we love to do and support ourselves while we're doing it. So that's the topic. Like, you love what you do. Tell me why. So what's your why? And before you answer, I'm going to give you mine to give you a minute to think of yours. And my why is a story. It's the story of standing in a room in February of 2020, standing in a room next to a co-founder of a tech company that I was building. And he leans over to me and he nudges me and he says, "Aren't you grateful to be in this room?" And when I looked out into the middle of the room, the huge room of 3,000 people inside this huge conference, and I'm pitching our company, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be in this room. The room was filled with maybe 10 women in it. And I'm like, I don't want to be in this room. Why am I in this room? Get me out of this room. And that moment of clarity that I had in February 2020, 6 months later, I exited the tech company and I started working with women who wanted to figure out how to live their purpose and how to monetize it and how to build a business. And the women that are paving the road that many people don't pave. Like, we don't take that risk. And the payoff has been the Heart Cell was born. The Heart Cell was born 2 years ago, and I get to work with women like you. And it's, as you can, like, passion is something that we can say, but it's something you also feel and experience. And so that is my why. Who wants to go next?
I'm happy to go. So for me, the why, the current why, is a little different than the original why. What I do through the course of my career is a blend of everything I've ever done. I started as a programmer. I am a patient mentor for cancer patients, which brings my tech and life sciences. And I love helping people. And that's what drove me to start what the official name is the health and technology law firm doing business as HD Biz Law. But we just call it HD Biz Law now. It's been around for 13 years. And by having a smaller firm instead of being in big law, I've been able to help companies that are more mission focused, that aren't necessarily able to pay the big law rates, where you end up just being a strategic missile. My why has always been to be able to help clients of any type head off the problems before they happen, because it's so much easier to fix things and get it right at the beginning. So in 2013, I founded, what is now HT Biz Law, and we have some other attorneys working here, and we all are able to focus on the mission, which is to help people do it right from the beginning, wherever possible. And for the last 5 or 6 years, I've really been focused on helping women founders, people who have left being employees and are making the transition to their own firm, whether it's one person or 3 people or 5 people, because I truly believe with everything in my fiber that the legal foundation is basically the most important thing. It separates your personal risk from your business risk. It enables you to have happy client relationships. It gets you paid what you're worth. And my real goal has been to help women, to lift people up, because we have to be a new women's network to counteract a little bit the old boys network. Of course, yes, I will take a male client if he comes to me. But my goal really is to help women, because we have to be better, stronger, faster. We have to not wait till we're 90% sure that we can do this and just take the risk at 50% or 60%. And
Mhm.
I genuinely believe legal doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive. And it can be understandable whether or not you're a lawyer. And that's what we do now, is we make law accessible in a more simple, straightforward way. And it just makes me feel so good when, a small biotech releases a drug, goes from bench research to commercial, releasing a product, and then it's helping a female founder build their business and know that they have the confidence to compete with the bigger entities for the same kind of work.
I felt that passion. And I
Me too.
also loved that discerned risk doesn't have to be at 100%. It can be like, take the risk at 40, 50, 60%, right?
And
Right.
and the reality is part of it is I'm helping women learn to fight against the socialization we have, which is we're supposed to be nice. We're supposed to put family first. We're not supposed to ask for money. The reality is men ask for, studies have shown, the raise, the promotion, the title when they're 50 to 60% ready. Women wait till they are 90+% ready, which is why sometimes men do get ahead faster, or most of the time. It isn't the only reason. There is the systemic bias, but we have to not wait until we're sure, because
Mhm.
being a business owner involves taking reasoned risk, which
Mhm.
is where having contracts, protecting your assets, protecting your intellectual property, making sure potential clients don't steal your work and not hire you.
Mhm.
That's what we have to do, and that's my goal.
Love this. Love this conversation.
It's awesome.
Tiffany, what's your why?
Wow. So my why's changed a bit also. So I have a long banking history, and I always loved helping people. I loved coaching people up, inspiring them, leading by example, and really being in the weeds with them to show them how to be successful. And that gave me a lot of pride. It became very transactional over time. Um, it was very widget driven, which was always a stress to me because we were always walking a gray line based on what was best for the client and what was best for your pocketbook, to be quite honest. So transitioning over to Prasad Wealth has really allowed me to take 15 plus years in banking, knowing every aspect of it, and just holistically helping people and building plans, financial plans from ground up with all my knowledge, and then helping them to become financially free so that they can work if they want to and what they want to do, not because they have to and because they have to have a paycheck. And to me, that's really rewarding. And as I said before, I head up the 401k division. And I think probably my most rewarding is the education part. And not only do I structure the plans, but I get to go out and meet with hundreds and hundreds of participants. And, a lot of times they'll come to me and they'll say, I want to opt out. And I'll say, why? And it's just because they don't know. They're scared. They've heard horror stories. They don't get educated in school, which it's so hard for me to understand this, but they don't know what it is. And after spending, half an hour educating a 21-year-old bright-eyed kid, and showing them the power of compounding and how they're creating their own pension because they're not getting a pension like their grandparents did. And this like light bulb that goes off in their like face and their eyes, and they like just thank me. Like they sign up and they're contributing 10-15% and they were opting out. And like they thank me. They're like, nobody has ever sat with me. Nobody's explained that. And I've been doing this for a long time. So every time I go out, they sit with me and they're excited and they see their wealth growing. To me, that's the most exciting part. Just that education and spreading wealth and the knowledge of what I know to help other people. I also, obviously I work with very, very large clients and I work with small clients, and they all have a different story and they all have a background. And to me, I love learning about people. Everything is so different and it's interesting. And, my industry is extremely complicated. You always are learning. Things are completely changing. So I think I thrive a little bit on that too. I like that constant change and, challenging myself to keep up
Balance.
with all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love the strategic partners. Like I said, it takes a village to really help people with their whole holistic picture. And, we're more than asset management. We really do the hand holding. Like I help my clients, like I said, I have great Medicare relationships, great estate attorney relationships, great CPA relationships. I like to work, holistically with the client to take all of that legwork off of them and let them focus on what they love and, spend time with their family outside. So I think that's my why. And I guess my ultimate why is my daughter. She's
Yeah.
like the light of my life. And I really like to show her that she can be an independent woman. She can be a strong lady. She can support herself. Of course, it's great to be with the family, but I just never want her to rely on anybody. So I always like to lead by example and show her what's capable. I jumped out of banking, Dora, pretty old. I don't want to, I'm dating myself, but, I built a book from start and I was really frightened. And there was a time I didn't think I could do it. And I remember my daughter saying to me, she said, Mommy, that's like me falling off the beam. You don't think I'm going to get back on? And like it resonated to me. I'm like, my gosh, this is like my 8-year-old daughter telling me this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And fast forward, I built a really nice business. So
Yeah.
that's my why.
So I'm rereading the book, The Purpose-Driven Life again. It's been a long time since I've read it. It's an oldie but goodie. And even though like I get it, like I know my ultimate purpose, like, but when I have conversations like this, it stems back to what are the relationships that I have in my life, especially in my business. And you really tackled that, Tiffany, with it's not just my client, it's my daughter, and it's it's the partnerships that I have, and it's the introductions that I make, and it was so solid. And then Sharon, the risk is like, here we have the attorney here telling us to take the risk, but we can
Take
protect
a
ourselves.
reasoned risk,
Right.
meaning protect yourself around the risk. Yes.
Right. So like this risk with relationship building and owning that you're the expert and owning that purpose and owning that why. Oh, I love it so much.
And Dora, that when I teach my business foundations for women, one of the things I talk about is exactly what you're doing, Tiffany, which is start contributing to a SEP IRA or a 401k right away, because you can never get back the time value of money.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's just like, even if it's just $50 to start, get yourself in that habit, because it's all interplays, whether it's the finance piece or the mindset piece, it all goes together to help women build businesses. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if anyone who knows anything about me knows that I'm a fitness fanatic. I have a minor in psychology. So I really try to link together what I feel are the pillars of wealth. I think health is wealth, and it's financial health, physical health, and mental health. And if one of those stools is broken, you're wavering. And all of us have a broken stool. So we're always a working project. But those are the three things that I just feel that are so pertinent to a well-rounded, healthy person, and overlooked a lot.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Yes. Yes. So, thank you. If you came and scrolled with us and hung out, feel free to come and say hi in the chat. But, where can people find out about your brilliance? Because you guys are real. You're not just like not just on screen. You're real. You're accessible.
Yep.
People can come and talk to you. And so where would they do that?
So for me, if you're a larger client, you would just go to my main website, which is HTBizLaw, like healthtechbusinesslaw.com. If you are a small business and that's where you are right now, it's htbizlaw.com/small business. So that's the sort of the front door specifically for small businesses. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook at HTBiz with a Z law.
Thank you, Sharon. And Tiffany, where are you? Where can they find you?
Yep. So you can find me at Prasad Wealth. So that's our prasadwealth.com. I'm one of the advisors in there, but you can also find me on LinkedIn. You'll see a lot of little videos on there. I have some Facebook and Instagram. And on LinkedIn, it's just my name, Tiffany Bovell. And you can also find me in Dora's COI Center of Influence.
Yeah.
Oh, and me too, as far as, yes, the COI Center of Influence.
And at the summit.
I know.
I'll be there. And from
You
the
can
non-local
see-
people, I'm flying in from the East Coast. So yes.
Yes. So you can see all of us in person at the Heart Cell Signature Summit. And again, inside the Circle of Influence. And Tiffany, I literally came up with Circle of Influence through old banking days when we used to use COIs.
That's
literally how I came up with that.
It translates, right?
It does. So the Circle of Influence Partnership Guide is part of the Heart Cell Signature Summit, where all of these partners are endorsed subject matter experts. So go check that out as well. And more lives are coming. Thank you again, Tiffany and Sharon, for hopping on live. And we'll see everybody